Hey everyone, welcome back to I Dream of Indie. Ole Gamer Joe here with another review for you today. We are looking at Headsnatchers on the PlayStation 4, a party game that was previously released onto Steam PC last year, 2019. It was developed by Iguana B and published by Iceberg Interactive. The game is currently priced at $14.99 on the PlayStation Network. Being a party game, Headsnatchers is going to be best experienced with friends. You can play the game locally with up to 4 players, or also online should anyone be available, up to 4 players as well. I actually ended up using the SharePlay feature for this game as my brother lives pretty far away from me and he was helping me out with this review, so we were able to get him into the game that way and still have Silent Signs here locally so that we could do 3-player. There isn't any real storyline that I could see in Headsnatchers, it's just a silly party game atmosphere with cartoony characters. You can create a character and there's a good variety of different options you can use to do so. If character creation isn't your thing for whatever reason, there's plenty of other options here. There's a bunch of characters that are unlocked right out of the gate, but you can also unlock more by playing the game. There are 25 different levels in Headsnatchers, but the goal for the most part is the same, to try to steal your opponent's head and then drop it off at a certain location. That can vary from level to level. For example, you may have to deposit your opponent's head into the center of a level and then rush to the gate with that head in order to escape before them. Or you might find yourself in a game of Headsnatchers basketball, which has you try and do a grab your opponent's head once again and slam it into the corresponding color of your opponent. This mostly involves you just trying to dash into your opponents. You do have a special attack which you can use as well, but generally there isn't a lot to the combat here. Headsnatchers is clearly a game that was designed for anyone to be able to pick up and play it, and in that regard it is a success. But personally, I could have done with a few more strikes or maybe a drop kick or something to mix things up. You can at the least grab some items to knock over your foes with, including guns that you can use to shoot them with, but for the most part the general idea is going to be bumping into characters, hoping their head pops off, and then grabbing that head. The first mode that we checked out is the Tornado mode, and this allows you to go through a variety of the game's different levels at your own choosing. Not every level was a winner in Headsnatchers. I did enjoy the sports-themed levels more than the other levels for the most part, but I will say some of them were downright annoying, like an obstacle course which we couldn't even really figure out the goal for, or this giant robot level, which was a little bit aggravating because the platforming in Headsnatchers doesn't feel all that great. Still, because the game does have pretty good customizable options here, you don't have to choose those levels that you don't like so much, so I can appreciate that about the game. The scoring system can also be customized a bit. You can make it so 3 victories is enough to win a total game, but you can also change it to 5 or 7. There's also a tag team mode in Headsnatchers, which we didn't really get to mess around with because it does require 4 players, but the main idea here is that you have 2-on-2 teams versus everyone for themselves. My personal favorite mode in the game was the Roulette, which allows you to spin a wheel and players will then take part in a random game. One lucky spin put us all on top of a bouncy cake where we had to try to get our opponent's heads to the very top of the cake. It was pretty entertaining. The winner will also get to choose between 2 different prizes in this mode, which allows you to unlock some of the game's hidden stickers and other secrets. Overall, I would say personally this was my favorite mode in the game. Okay, so Headsnatchers is clearly a game that was designed to be a multiplayer style party game, but there is one single player option, at least for players that want to go it alone, and that is a zombie castle, which has you platforming through a variety of different areas trying to avoid zombies and get to exits. Personally, I didn't find this mode to be all that well executed. The platforming in Headsnatchers, as I mentioned earlier, isn't that responsive, so a whole mode based around using that platforming isn't really appealing. Graphically, I think the look of Headsnatchers is quite appealing actually, very cartoony, and reminded me quite a bit of the Little Big Planet series in some ways, the way your characters move and animate. The environments were all vibrant and colorful, full of personality, really nice art aesthetic to this game actually. And I think the sound design and soundtrack in Headsnatchers isn't half bad either. You have those party tunes that you would expect, very upbeat, silly, and I enjoyed all the cute sounds that my character would make, whether he was jumping around or swinging at other characters. Overall, Headsnatchers has a really enjoyable cartoony look and sound. Okay, this probably goes without saying, but if you're looking for a single-player experience, Headsnatchers isn't going to be the game for you, but it is a pretty welcome addition to any party fan's lineup. Not every level in Headsnatchers is a winner, but the ones that are good are really quite good actually. The core gameplay isn't that deep, and it's easy enough for anyone to pick up and play this game. The experience could get a little bit old after a while, however, so this isn't one that you're going to want to marathon play. But if you are looking to add a local co-op party experience to your PlayStation collection, then this one's not half bad. It's certainly a unique and interesting experience. There is an online mode that could give it some legs if it has a following. Headsnatchers will never be the life of your party, but it can offer up a few solid hours of entertainment on a weekend. We hope that you enjoyed this review of Headsnatchers. If you did, consider hitting the subscribe button below to help us bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming. There's a ton of other ways to support I Dream of Indie, and we now offer memberships as well, so do consider checking out all of those in the description box below. However you end up supporting I Dream of Indie, we thank you so much for doing so.